Darius Bazley is a top high school prospect for, I believe he's in the current senior class. Okay, he is foregoing college, and he has accepted an endorsement deal from New Balance. $14 million, $1 million guaranteed. New Balance is paying Bazley. He is going to spend this season sitting out and preparing for the draft and getting paid by New Balance. Another note about him. So just so you guys know, I believe he's from Huntsville.
Is he?
He's from where?
I believe he was actually born in Huntsville.
Good old Huntsville, Alabama.
I could be wrong. Did
he go to high school in Huntsville?
I'm looking it up right now.
But I think.
Well, I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it.
Yeah, that's going to be that's going to be the new thing, I think, for a lot of these guys that are having to deal with all these issues of getting a little bit of money to help your family because you've been struggling for the last 15 to 70, 18 years. They're going to say, you know what, forget it. I want to go to the NBA. I'll work on my game, maybe play overseas, or just stay here. Give me a fat contract. I'll wear your shoes. I think it's a good move for New Balance.
$14 million is a lot of money, too, man.
Yeah.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah.
Hey,
there's
you and your family, they're set.
Yeah. He may not even do well in the league. There's a lot of people think they're going to do well
Absolutely.
and don't go anywhere. They'll be making $60,000 a year playing somewhere. So
and he can go to Europe and play and make some money.
Yeah, no, he's actually not from.
He don't have to do well.
Exactly. I mean, well is, that's objective. Is that the right word? No, well is not objective. Well, it's up to you what well is. Subjective. Thank you. So, if this kid goes on to a 20-year career wearing New Balance in China, that's money well spent for New Balance.
Absolutely.
But are the shoes comfortable? That's what I want to know.
I'm sure they are. I have on New Balance right now.
Follow him in China.
Right.
New Balance. New Balance.
Hey, what y'all think about the NBA G League offering to play
150?
As the word you would use, Joey. A-League players, A-League type, coming out of graduating senior basketball players playing the G League and paying what, $125,000?
$150. So before we go on to that, Bazley, by the way, is ranked number 17 nationally, number 1 out of Ohio, and the number 4 small forward in the class. All right.
Okay.
So the NBA, the whole situation with the NBA and the NCAA in cahoots to basically
keep the black man down.
I guess you could go there. They're keeping the white man down too.
Everybody.
The white man is being held down too.
Before you get in the league,
right?
You're held down.
But the idea that coaches are getting a $5 million salary and then a $10 million deal from Adidas, making $10-15 million. The idea that CBS pays $1 billion to do to broadcast games, and then the kids don't get paid. I understand it's hard to pay the basketball player and not pay the volleyball player
or the badminton.
Okay, so how do you differentiate that?
I got a solution for that.
What's your solution?
How many autographs have you signed this year? And we can prorate.
Right.
How much money you generate. If you generate a lot of money, I think you should get your cut. It's just like when you play in the NBA, NFL. If you're garbage, you don't sell jerseys, or you're average, you don't sell jerseys. You don't get the fat contract.
But you can't do that, Joe. You can't do that because of Title IX.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Because of Title IX, everything has to be equal.
Well, then I guess they have to split it. I mean, you split $1 billion.
That's federal law.
Right. So the system is collapsing underneath them as we speak. Whether it be high school kids running to Europe to play, Mitchell Robinson last year just sits out Glenn Rice Jr. a couple years ago went directly to the G League. So the whole system is collapsing because it's stupid.
They're trying to hang on though.
The one and done freshmen, they show up to class for the first 4 or 5 weeks, get their eligibility for basketball season. Once second semester starts, there's no need to go to class.
Well, they're only taking PE
Right. So
anyway.
Right. So there's literally they go to class for the first month or 2 months, and then there's no need to go back to class. It's utterly ridiculous. So now the G League wants to pay $150 if you come out and go into the G League draft. Okay. And then when you look at what Bazley just did, which is get $14 million. So the point is, instead of me going and doing this one and done foolishness, I can now go sign my sneaker deal. If I'm Zion Williamson, I'm going to get $100 million.
And you're still going to get the number one draft
and I'm still going to get right. And you can go to the G League and they pay $150. So between that $150 from the G League and your sneaker money, you're set for life right there. So that's available to them right now. But they need to go a step further.
Spin on this real quick.
Go ahead.
Let me go and spin on this. So check this out. So my question is, what do you think it does to LeVar Ball and his league?
Right.
Do you think he's happy about what the NBA G League has done?
LeVar Ball, strangely enough, is almost in a good position. His league is crap. Right? It's just garbage the way that they do it, but he had to do the concept is great, but he had to do it in a certain way. This type of situation is about to happen in the NFL too, with McMahon coming back and trying to do another league. You cannot do this without the mothership. You can't go start a football league without doing it through the NFL. You can't start a basketball league without doing it through the NBA. You want to almost become a piece. You need to become a piece for it to work. That's why LeVar Ball's league is a joke. And then when you're doing it in the summer, it's also a joke. So what needs to happen?
USFL wasn't successful.
No.
Right, because it's spring. You can't do it. What needs to happen now with basketball is go a step further. Destroy your G League draft because that's garbage. Because there's no players left to draft. Okay.
I'm about to say I don't even know.
All right.
I don't even know how that works.
It's stupid. You extend the NBA draft 4 rounds. All right. And
how many rounds? You said 4?
Yes, you extend it by another 2 rounds, and then you can go ahead and you can use your G League affiliate. Now could take your 3rd and 4th pick, all right, and potentially your second pick. Okay. So what would happen is now you could draft 18-year-olds, and the 1-year contract is bad because what they're doing is you're not affiliated with any team, so no one has a priority in developing you, right? You're ending up on some G League team, which is owned by some NBA team, and you're going to be drafted by a completely another team the following year.
Or not owned by an NBA team.
Right. Well, I think all of them except for 2 of them are owned by an NBA team.
They're not every NBA team has a G League affiliate.
Right? That's correct also. So those little gaps need to be tightened up, and what needs to happen is you draft a player from high school, all right? And again, the baseball system. You draft them from high school and you have a 6-year development plan for him. You have control of that player for 6 years to develop him. In the NBA, you could do that with 3 or 4 years. You take a kid at 18.
Joey, the thing where I don't know if that will necessarily work with baseball. How many players do you have on a baseball team? You got like 30-something players or 20-something players?
You have 40 men on your roster, but those 40 are combined on your AAA and Major League team.
But I think because the number of players are so vast, it's easier to extend your draft. With basketball, you got 15 players max, 12 to 15 players. So to extend it, first of all, to 4 rounds, what do you?
Well, each team should actually have.
You entered access
Uh-oh.
code 374061.
Smooth groove.
I know, right?
The quiet storm. You here with Joe Lewis and Joey Dillon. Not only to bring you sports, but bring you smooth jazz all day, all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, there it is.
All right. So we lost him.
That jazz was kind of nice, though. I liked it.
We might be able to get him back. Hold on.
Can we get the music back while we're like waiting? Because that was pretty smooth.
Okay. What do you think about the idea of having control of a player for 3 to 6 years?
Whew.
Okay, so that you could develop him, see if he maxes out his potential. Then after 3 years, you're not in. So when you go in, 3-year deal, $500,000. All right, or on a scale, or you just pay a signing bonus, right? So if we draft you and you're one of the top guys in the class, it's $1 million signing bonus, $2 million signing bonus, and then you go into the G League and you get your $30,000-$40,000 a year.
Okay.
Right, and then the team can make a decision on you after 3 years. They want to keep you, or you get exposed to everyone else if you haven't promoted them yet. And then, just take your time, 3 to 6, and develop the player. Because after 3 years, he'd be coming out of college.
Right.
Then he's going to take 3 years to get into a comfort zone within the NBA.
Now, I don't know if it would take the full 6 years.
No, not for all.
Because I feel like if you play college basketball, that's one level. NBA is another level. If you can immediately, at the age of 18, train like a man would in the NBA, I feel like those 3 years, even though you may not be completely ready, I think you can make faster progress. And you actually could probably give me a better way to tell if you're really ready for the NBA. I don't know if you need the full 6 years.
Well, the thing is, everybody is not going to make it. So what you're doing is you're giving yourself more room to fail, right? Because you're going to end up, let's say over a 3-year period, you're going to end up taking 6 guys.
Okay.
In that situation. 1, 2 of them might make it. The other 4 won't. But in the situation we have now, that person that won't make it, because you drafted him, he's on your roster.
He's sitting on the bench.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, and not only that, we don't have to witness it. Like, I don't want to have to watch,
Welcome.
Some guy you drafted not play well when he could just be somewhere else, honing his skills, no pressure. I would like to see something a little bit shorter than the 6-year deal.
Well, it's a 3-year deal. See where you're at.
Yeah.
And then another 3-year deal.
Yeah.
Is how it should work.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I don't know. They definitely have to go back and figure something out. Because a lot of guys, they don't want to go and sit in college, and then to have the opportunity to come out and earn a living, especially when you're a top tier player, somebody be all over that before going to play college. Not unless they just love the game,